Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Enter Oblivion Comics. I am your host, Oblivion. Today, we've got a pretty interesting show for you. I didn't get all of my comics from my LCS this week. They had a shipping issue, so I only picked up actually 2 new comics this week. But I ended up grabbing a few more things off of the shelf that I'm going to talk about here that are really interesting. And then we're going to do 2 new series that we're kicking off here in this episode. First is Antiqued to Oblivion, where we're going over some books I got at an antique store, and we're going to do that throughout the weeks. Stuff that I find that I'm really interested in, I want to show. These can be, cool covers, key issues, just random books I needed to fill a collection or a hole somewhere. And then our last one is going to be cover conversations. And it's the same way there. It's just cool covers. It doesn't have to be key issues. I've got a pretty interesting thing that we're talking about today with this one and some other stuff behind it that'll be really interesting. So let's get into our LCS pickups. So the first one here is this Jurassic League. Writer and cover artist Daniel Warren Johnson. The artist is Juan Gideon. I give this an 8.8 to 9. It's a solid follow-up to the first issue. It's the Justice League as dinosaurs. It's a great concept. It's being executed extremely well, and I highly, highly recommend this series. Just really, really cool. So I'm going to talk about kind of how I grade comics here after I graded that one, just to give everybody kind of an idea of kind of my opinion on it. So if the cover art draws me in, the book gets like a 3.5 to 4, just like that. Like, that's the job of the cover, right? Draw in the reader. So if it grabs me, it's done its job. So it needs to get some points there. If the art inside continues to draw me in, like when I open the book, I'm just really excited to read it, just based on the art style, it can get up to another 2 points. So just from art, I normally can give a comic up to 6 points. And then I give about 4 points for story. Now, okay stories get 1, good 2, great 3, and then amazing stories get 4 points. So if I give a comic an 8.5, or we'll just continue with this one. So this gets an 8.8 to 9. Mainly because, the cover and the art get almost a full 6 for me. And the story is great. It gets a 2 to a 3, maybe even close to a 4. I really like this stuff. So 8.8 to 9, just a great, great book. Now we're going to my second book, which is actually my independent pick of the week, but 2 comics. So this is Seven Sons #1. So this book has really interesting paneling, and I'm sure it's used on kind of a lot of other books. But let me just show an example. Sorry, I hit the mic there. So that right there, it gives the impression that there's a really big event happening or a lot of action, and it's really well done. This issue was written by Kelvin Mao and Robert Wyndham, and the artist on it is Jay Lee. It's got a lot of potential. It's dark and mysterious. It just makes the book fantastic. It jumps back and forth in time. Interesting. I'm not really sure if these are going to end up being the reincarnations of Christ, but they're pretty fascinating, and I enjoy this story. So that's a good one to pick up. The next book is Poison Ivy #1. The writer is G. Willow Wilson. The artist is Marcio Takara, and the cover art is Jessica Fong. And this was just a great book, start to finish. The art drew me in, and I stayed for the story. Afterwards, I walked over and added this to my pull list. The rest of it, this is just great. Highly recommend. It's just awesome. Okay, so I picked up a couple What If Miles Morales books. So I got the Captain America one. again, cool book. The writer on this is Cody Ziglar, sorry, and the artist is Sarah Pashili. Um, and this one is the Wolverine comic. This is the second printing. It's still okay. I think it's cool. The writer on this one is John Ridley. The artist is Fareed Karami, and the cover artist again is Sarah Pashili. Um, just cool books. I saw them and I was like, yeah, you know, Miles Morales, What If, Wolverine, and Captain America. That's pretty cool. So I snagged them. Okay, so that kind of ends our weekly haul reviews. Again, I didn't review those last three books. Those were not new books, and I want to review new books. But going into this new series, this Antiqued to Oblivion. So the idea of this is like every time I go to a antique store, my wallet is kind of antiqued into Oblivion. Like I find a bunch of stuff that I like, stuff that you know that a lot of collectors probably have two or three of, but stuff that I find really cool. So this first one that we're going to talk about is Brian Michael Bendis story. The artist is Stefano Casilli, and this is the first cover appearance of Riri Williams as Ironheart. I paid $18 for this. I paid $15 for this. It's a solid book. Like, I'm really happy to have it. Just really cool. For those that don't know about Riri Williams, she's kind of the new Iron Man. We're gonna see what's gonna happen there. I like this book. Okay, so the second one I picked up mainly for the cover. This is a Daredevil number 10 from the 2015-2016 series. This was written by Charles Soule and Mark Waid. The art's by Ron Garney, and the cover art is by Chris Samney. This is just a beautiful black cover. Top-notch art. I really like the use of the red, black, and the white. Like, this could easily be a black, white, and blood cover. And I just, you know, I had to have it. It's just in great shape. Obviously, it's pretty new, but, you know, this is a collection piece. Like, this is just a cool, cool cover. Great, great book. So this is actually something I got from a small shop, a bookstore here in Springfield. I went out with my dad one day and we just, you know, found some great, great stuff. The writer on this is Chuck Dixon. The artists are Tom Grummett and Scott Hanna. I don't know a lot about this series. I actually haven't really read this book, but I really, really like this cover. And I found it, I think it was like $1 at this store. Like, just, you know, cool. It's a foil cover. It's in pretty good shape. So yeah, that's just a cool thing I picked up. So, you know, again, these are not rare comics. These are not old or vintage comics necessarily, or even key issues. But this is just stuff that I think is really cool that I found for good prices at antique stores. So this is the DC Universe Rebirth Batman Beyond Volume 6, number 1. It's written by Dan Jurgens. The art is Bernard Chang. The cover artist on this is Ryan Sook. And the cover just feels futuristic. Like, Batman contrasts well. I love the way that, you know, Batman Beyond doesn't have a cape really, but I love the way like this is just kind of cloaked behind him like a cape, like almost like a Spawn cape off the back, and it's just flowing off the arms with all of, you know, what's going on behind it. I really think this is cool. And I couldn't really do one of these videos without including a Batman Beyond comic. I love Batman Beyond. It's one of my favorite superheroes. My favorite version is Thomas Wayne, then Batman Beyond Terry McGinnis, and then, you know, I like Bruce Wayne a lot too, so he's up there, but had to put a Batman Beyond comic in. And then I couldn't have this video without mentioning this, because they do this series. So this is the direct edition Gargoyles number 1. I have a newsstand that's in a little bit worse shape, but this is in almost perfect condition. I loved this show. It's the Gargoyle show, you know. I paid $29 for this book. It's a $115 book in this condition. Like, it was just a great find. and it had to be something that got shown. So, you know, there's that. Okay, so that is Antiques to Oblivion. That is my 5 comics that I picked up at an antique store. I've got a bunch more in the boxes below here that we're going to go through in some other episodes. But now we're going to do our cover conversations. And, you know, the point of this is to actually draw in some conversation about these covers, potentially. So, like these first two that I'm showing. So this is the Uncanny X-Men 141, Days of Future Past. This is cover art by John Byrne, you know, just amazing. And then this here is the Shadow War Zone #1 homage variant to this comic. So my question here is, who did it better? You know, like, this is classic. This is classic, and it's awesome. Like, amazing. But this is really, really well done, too. I'm going to go with Byrne just because it's hard to argue against the original. But, you know, it's one of those things. So let me know in the comments below, please. So those are the first 2 books. And this one, this is Justice League 75. I think this is cover D. I call it the coffin cover, you know, obviously. And this book's it's just beautiful, you know. Oh, I thought it was a wraparound. It's not a wraparound. Cool, I don't actually have to take it out. This one I ordered. I had to have this. I remember showing one of my friends, my friend Tom, the comic book creature, this on my phone, and he just went, "Oh, dude, that's so cool." So you can just really feel the event. Like the event really hit. You know, you've got all these characters here. Everybody looks sad, and it kind of just shows the whole league, or the rest of the league, reacting to the deaths of the Justice League in the newest Dark Crisis run, which is really cool. But yeah, what do you think? What do you think about the coffins? This is John. The Green Lantern here is John Stewart that passed. Hal Jordan's still alive. And very important, the Flash does not have a coffin there. But yes, let me know on that one. Okay, 2 more here. Got the Amazing Spider-Man 347. This is just a beautiful Hamlet cover. I picked this up for a pretty good deal. I think I paid $20 for this. Great shape. I mean, you can see just a great shape book. And it's just, plainly speaking, it's just amazing. You know, Amazing Spider-Man. This book is amazing. It's beautiful. Alas, poor Spider-Man, I killed him well. You know, not bad. Okay, and this is the last one that I got today. So this is the Batman 89 Francesco Mattina variant. This is a 1 in 3,000 variant, a retail variant, and I love the Michael Keaton Batman, so this series just hits. There's a new Robin in here, and this series actually finishes at the end of the month, so this will be my first full reviewed series, is Batman 89, and I am so excited to get to that. That comes out June 29th, so I will probably be doing that full series review at some point there. But if you really look at this cover, like, it just contrasts super well. I probably should have taken it out for the video, but I'm a little protective of my books. I try to keep them in their protective casing as much as possible. But yeah, so that is comic conversations, cover conversations. I apologize. But that about wraps it up for today. As always, if you like the content, feel free to like and subscribe. If you didn't, thanks for stopping in regardless. Feel free to comment below with any tips to improve the channel. and let's get some conversations going on these covers. You know, tell me what you like, what you didn't like. Everybody have a wonderful day, and thanks again for stopping in.